I hate to make this announcement, everybody. Loldel was down, or Lol Sketch was down, so we could not have any fun. But for the folks that are only joining for the recorded segment of the 13th episode of an LPL English podcast, you missed nothing. You can get more Lol Sketch and maybe some Lolix if roommate Elia is feeling quite generous with our downtime. But welcome. This is the 13th episode. We're about to head into the last week of the regular season for split number 2, and I'm joined by Rafa. Mark, how are you doing? It was just Mother's Day.
Yes, I spent wonderful Mother's Day brunch with family, and then afterwards I took a small nap, and then I woke up, and then we had an extended Mother's Day dinner with some other family, since I have many parents through divorce, so I was visiting a lot of families throughout the day. And it was a good time. I even did some watercolor painting. I wish I had a picture. I would have shown you guys. It's like elementary school level. I would not.
That's okay.
Be too enthusiastic, but it was for my grandma, who is very sick, but she loves art, and she's an artist herself, and she's really talented. And it was just a nice thing that we did for her. So it was a good time overall.
Wow, that sounds incredible. I didn't know that a lot of your family, you had the whole village out there in Utah. I didn't know it was, I thought y'all, because if small background lore, I was like, I didn't know how much of your family was split across here and the South for the South part of the U.S., because I know you have some family in Carolina.
Yeah. I was born in Utah, and a lot of my family on all sides of my parents that I've grown up with all are based in Utah for the most part, even though my mom and stepdad live in North Carolina, and my mom or my dad and stepmom live here in Utah. So yeah. Okay. Rafa extended family lore drop will be for another day, but we've got some LPL to talk about, baby. Week 6, let's go.
Yeah, let's get away from the U.S. continent and let's move all the way to the other side of the world and take a look at our schedule. Again, if you want to join us live, you can get over here again every Monday, same time, and we usually go live for most of the normal days, so 2 a.m. PST. Do your conversions locally wherever you have to. And honestly, Rafa, before we kind of look at going forward, I want to ask you, what is 6 weeks of LPL, how has it been treating you? How have you felt that this split has gone, maybe in comparison to your expectations?
Well, I think when we compare what we were looking for at the beginning of Split 2 and how things have shaken up, there are some things that have followed according to plan. BLG are still on top. They're still our best domestic team, and it is a heavy crown to wear, especially being known as the best team in the world after first stand placements. But then the way that the league is shaken up, we've had definitely a lot of surprise performances, and now it's about consistency from them trying to maintain their status near the top. You think about Top Esports and their surgence, especially in the first few weeks of the regular split. Tien back on the roster, looking like an MVP contender for the split. Obviously, in the past couple of weeks, Top Esports' performances have kind of waned after a little bit of the early explosiveness, and we're being brought back down to reality. But for genuine fans of Top Esports who know the international woes of Top Esports in prior years, maybe it's a good thing they start suffering now and figure out their shiz before we get to international, because Top Esports are legitimately a favorite for the number 2 spot, but they're not the only ones. I think JDG would be the other hard favorite at the moment.
Yeah, I look at the standings, and I won't lie, they look about where I expect they should have been at the end of the regular season. If you were to ask me, I actually just take a look at this right now. I am not like mega surprised to see it is this exact lineup, but it's just the way in which we got here that's so interesting. Like WE being 1-11. When we go back to the schedule, we'll kind of talk about their win this week. The fact that NIP and IG are kind of fighting for 5th and 6th, that sounded about right coming into this split. It was, to me, going to be what variations between 1 and 4 were we going to see in Group Ascend, and then what was going to happen in Group Nirvana, because I don't know if I've made this very clear throughout the times on the podcast or throughout the show, but Group Nirvana is where it's at, man. I love Group Nirvana. There's going to be people who are going to bag it. I know watching Twitch chat most of the time, there's a lot of people who are like, quite frankly, a little too rude about the teams and the level of play, but I love that every game matters the most. There's no double round robin to save you. There's nothing there to like hold back. You got to play whatever you got on the day is what you get on the day. And we still get LPL level upsets. So
yeah,
it's like pure distilled League of Legends LPL for me.
The way I like to look at Group Nirvana and how it compares to Group Ascend is the same way when I'm normally not the person that will make traditional sports comparisons, because the only traditional sport I'm kind of tapped into is football or soccer for American fans. But I know that whenever I've watched college basketball and NBA in the past, NBA is like LPL for me, where there's structure, there is a method, even if it is chaotic, but there is a method. Whereas college basketball, there's obviously skill, and there's obviously players who are performing way above the level that they're at, but it's so messy. It is so chaotic. But then there's also even more passion and almost madness behind it, because you are just fighting. You are fighting to get the hell out of that level and get to the NBA at some point, because you do not want your career to just end there. And that is what it's like watching Nirvana, because as you stated, every game matters, because the bottom 2 teams of Group Nirvana at the end of this split, their year is over. There's no more League of Legends for them after.
And if I would say we're kind of coming out of esports winter, it seems like as a whole, when you look at the landscape, yes, things are shrinking, but they're not shrinking as drastically as they did even just last year.
Stabilizing. Yeah.
We're stabilizing, and it seems to me, looking at the landscape, and I will be honest, my scope at which I look at a lot of esports is very much through the lens of League of Legends, but I have my hands and fingers in different pies. I'm looking at different games. It seems like sponsors are starting to like get back there, because we're no longer saying, hey, give us all this money and we're going to deliver all of these insane metrics that don't exist for fans. So now it's like, cool, we're bouncing back. LPL's a 16-team league at the start of it anyway, or I guess it's a 14-team league. 2 of you are done in May. That's nuts. Like, yeah. We're about to get there, by the way. But taking a look at our schedule, we had some really banger games. We only had 1 Group Nirvana match all week, which I was a little sad about, but it definitely delivered. LNG versus Ultra Prime. I had people looking at me very weird when I said that Ultra Prime could win a game. That's just Group Nirvana, baby. It's just how it goes.
True.
But I really am perplexed by some of these teams here. So Rafa, what do you think? How did you feel about week 6?
Well, just to touch lightly on that Ultra Prime LNG matchup, I think the funniest thing, and it really just states Nirvana, is that in the game 2 where Ultra Prime win, Henna's playing Ashe, and he is missing like 80% of his Ashe arrows the entire game.
I think I remember this.
And he gets player of the game! And I'm like, what? Of all players, you give it to him, the brother who is missing 80% of the most important part of his kit? But it just goes to show you that the rest of the broadcast who made that call was like, yeah, but everyone else on Ultra Prime was also kind of being a little too freaky for us. So Henna gets it, just out of principle. He was the least offensive, just to put it into perspective. But an overall banger for the Nirvana group. But the rest of the group Ascend, this was, for two teams in particular, a super week. Because WE had to play 3 series against IG, Weibo, and Top Esports. And for Ninjas in Pajamas, who had to play against IG, Weibo, and Anyone's Legend. Now, the funny thing is that off of the 2-0 win over Anyone's Legend that NIP scored, I was feeling very confident that these guys were going to at least take another series over IG and maybe
anybody.
Weibo. I thought they were going to be super confident because Anyone's Legend were on a 5-series win streak and NIP just destroyed them. They completely clapped them. But then it didn't result in the same kind of mojo momentum in the next 2 series. So I am casting their NIP series against Top Esports tomorrow. And I have to change a little bit of my perspective and my expectations going into that series because after the AL series, I was super hype. And I'm still sticking to the pre-show that I've kind of carved out for that series. But I know mentally I'm like, oh, the excitement has died down a little bit. What happened? I was so hype.
Yeah. I am just as surprised as you are that they were so dominant versus AL. Like, they come in, Guwon is smurfing, the bot lane's looking good, and our solo lanes hold it down. I was really pleasantly surprised with the level we got. And then we lose to IG. I'm seeing Nia like smurf, and I was like, now, I don't know if I've also made this very clear. I'm a big Nia fan. I obviously casted his first series coming into the split, and I thought he had a lot of potential. And yes, he did get destroyed by AL, but I think that some of those games were fine for the most part, especially you're going up against a very tenured player like Shanks and Tarzan and the whole of AL. But he played a really good game versus NIP. Wei ends up getting the MVP for that game, and the Pog, Breathe gets the Pog for the second game. So overall, I actually thought IG kind of played to a level that I had hoped we would see from them earlier. While we're here, I just... NIP very confusing. And then the 2 games versus Weibo. Weibo, do it again, bro. I don't know. Every damn time. I'm like, these guys are trash. They do this. They take a 2-0 weekend. They win 4-1.
Yeah.
Like, now, granted, the game they did lose was to WE, and they almost lost game 3. Oh my god.
The level you get from Weibo this entire split is all over the place. It is very much a Weibo roller coaster, and for anyone that is a true Weibro, which I don't think any of us here on the podcast are, but I know Grapes is a proud Weibro, and he tries to stand by those guys as much as he can. I think K-Man might be a Weibro too, or at least he's a big
Xiaohu defender. He's a Xiaohu defender because him and I go back and forth. I'm like, this guy is we need to he needs to leave the game before the game leaves him, and the game's already kind of left him at some point. But he is a big defender of him. I know he does it on his YouTube channel, and him and I go back and forth on it. But yeah,
for sure. Weibo, once again, just for anyone who might not be familiar with this roster, they are now on their 3rd support for the 2026 season in the Hank. And Weibro is comedically becoming very similar to BLG in their carousel of players and just trying to figure out what works best. And when I mean BLG, I mean the 2025 BLG iteration where they went through effectively 3 different junglers in Wei, Beichuan, and Shadow. Well, now Weibo went through Arha, they went back to Hong, and now they're on the Hank. So, I hope for Weibo's sake, and for Elk's sake, that they settle and they just commit to a support at this point, because I think every time that you are looking for a roster swap, you are essentially stalling out what could be overall progression for this team's potential or their ceiling. So it's it's a frustrating process to watch. I will give the Hank credit that he didn't look terrible in their wins, especially against NIP. So.
I thought he was okay. I
said they didn't look
like,
terrible. Didn't say he looked good. They didn't look terrible.
Yeah, he wasn't the worst. He was the okay.
Yes.
For the Hank. I really want to love this Weibo roster, but I don't know who this GM is. I made a tweet about this. I said that Weibo GM and their like whole C-suite or whatever that is controlling specifically this lineup is like the final boss. If you're like a hater of LCS and LEC GMs, this Weibo team, whoever is their staff, them brothers are the final boss. Like, you send them over to LEC or LCS, immediately they're number one enemy on the lineup. Undefeated spree. I made a joke to K-Man that it was like from Jujutsu Kaisen when Yuto like walks into the room and it's just like all cursed energy everywhere. Everyone in the room freaks out. They're like, holy, who the hell just stepped up in this room? And it's the Weibo guy. It's the Weibo team. Whoever, the scout that decided this was the roster we're going to go with. So
fair enough.
Yeah. We have some of our biggest hits for this week. Oh, go ahead, Rafa.
Yeah. Just last thing I will say, I still think NIP, because we didn't get a chance to put a pin in that conversation. This team,
we're gonna talk about it next, if anything.
Oh, okay.
NIP's also part of the next part. So.
All right. Well, good. Okay. Well, then, just quick touch on WE. These guys still, unfortunately, are not necessarily Group of 7 material, but congrats to them for being able to pick up their first series win over IG earlier. So, and boom!
There you go.
First part of the biggest hit.
Yeah. First series win feels good. I did not think it would be against... Okay, actually, let me rephrase that. I had a feeling it would be against IG, but, you know, you never want to be the first team to lose to the unwinning team, right?
I know it was going to be against Weibo, not going to lie to you.
Yeah, you, Mazel, Slayer, all my play-by-plays were like, hey, you know, it'd be really funny if we had Top Esports lose to WE. Yeah, okay, guys. No, that's not happening. I'm not letting TN's not losing a monkey. It's just not happening.
I said it would be Weibo. I didn't say it was going to be Top Esports. Whoever said it was Top Esports, that they're coping a little too hard there. I like the screenshot you got from the interview. Arha had a very emotional one in their first series win. Obviously, I still am not sure, and maybe I am sharing the same kind of level of unknowing with many others in the chat or those that are watching the podcast. So, Alec, if you can clarify for us.
Yeah, what's up? Was
the Arha move from Weibo a WE-initiated move or a Weibo-initiated move?
So you're saying from when Arha leaves Weibo to go to WE?
Yes.
My understanding of it, and this is obviously not like one-to-one with reality, is that Weibo felt like they may have overperformed with Arha and Elk, and so they wanted to bring in a tenured support in Hong, who was he's basically on not free agency because he was technically still signed under Top Esports, but essentially they wanted to see if they could spike a little bit harder with Hong.
Yeah.
But Hong domestically has always been a little bit hit or miss. He's been okay in a lot of the more recent splits, one of them having to be with Jackie Love, so I don't want to be mean, but getting boosted by regular season Kanavi is kind of just a treat for everybody, right?
Woo!
Let's not forget that Top Esports were the best regular season team all of 2025. Those guys were Smurfs in almost all of their series. And then internationals was always the problem, specifically Worlds, right? But then that didn't work out, and it is now just a case that Weibo is completely floundering. But to come back to WE, Arha he's earned 2 out of the 3 player of the games from their series from the games that they have won. So he's already like the person that is getting the most amount of praise from at least the official broadcast. He also has their only player of the series vote. So he is at least looking from our perspective to the LPL official broadcast. They are really, really excited about him as a support player. I think he's kind of cooled off in expectations. He's definitely come back down as like a middle of the pack support for the most part. But
yeah,
I think that him and About have been the best part of this WE roster all year long. And
absolutely.
we're seeing that now that they can actually win and they're not losing 1,500 gold at 12 minutes.
Yeah. The unfortunate reality for WE is that it's really hard for this team to do anything with their current solo lane lineup. Cars had an above expectations split 1 performance in group perseverance. Granted, it was in group perseverance, so your mid lane competition expected was only supposed to be Angel, and EDG heavily underperformed that split. So in reality, the only
Care was
person
there. Care was there.
Care had a better split than most splits, I will say.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like he overperformed, because we know that back in Care's heyday in the early FPX days alongside Milky Way, that was the best performance that we ever got from Care. And I still remember things like the Care Lucian mid. But back to WE, this roster struggles because their solo laners are definitely the worst in Group Ascend. Their jungler, which should be one of the brighter spots, was struggling already in Split 1. They bring in Tyrion a little ways into Split 2 because Monkey needs a break for mental health reasons, and probably just the pressures of competing and not performing up to his expectations are understandably difficult to go through.
Yeah.
So this team is on life support. So it's nice that About and Arha are able to string together some of these performances, even if they don't always necessarily result in wins. And it really is frustrating to see Weibo just kind of cast Arha off to the side when, yes, if the reasoning is, oh, this was an overperformance, therefore we don't think he's got much of a ceiling, and Arha is literally trying to keep WE from drowning. He is the only life preserver, and he's trying to put it on for 4 people at the same freaking time. So I feel so bad. I feel like this guy had a good thing going, and he was like talent worth investing in for the long term, and Weibo's like, nope, back to the slums you go, buddy.
Back to the slums, and it's WE. Guys, I promise for everybody in chat, we are under Weibo at some point later on here. So if you thought, hey, these guys are going really hard on them, it's gonna happen at some point later on. So don't worry, there's more to come. But congratulations to them. I thought that their series was generally okay, and they could have gone 2 wins. They could have had 2 series wins. Like game 1 versus Weibo, they got destroyed. I think you were in the green room at the time, and like I was going back and forth with K-Man, and I literally got out of my chair and I said, I'm gonna go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. When I come back, we're going into game 3. And K-Man said, I'll see you for the start of the next series. I watched 2 Avatar episodes, season 1. I came back, and we're done with game 2. I was like, never doubt the GOAT. Never doubt the GOATs in WE. I love them so much. And game 3, draft was tough. They had a Cassiopeia, and I'm trying to pull up the actual scoreboard for this game because I remember it was a Lucian for About, and he stepped too far up on a mid-wave and then died instantly, and they lost on the spot.
Rip.
And it was just like the game... Not that the game was easy to win from that position, because they were, I think, down in gold at that point. And, okay, so, yeah. This is a game where Weibo, they have Vayne top, Trundle jungle, Cassiopeia mid, Jin Karma, and WE are playing Jace, Nefiri, Mel, Lucian Melio. The game was not easy to play. I do think that we saw a couple of moments there where, like, they're going up against Hextech Soul and Monkey jumps over the dragon pit to kill Zika while the Soul Dragon is being taken. The fourth dragon that would give Weibo the soul is being done, and Monkey ults the Vayne out of the pit as the Fury. So he you see the dog. Let me make sure my hands are just here out of the pit, gone, and then soul is secured, and the game is actually still winnable, winnable from this point somehow. And then he eased forward, Trundle Pillar hits him, Cassiopeia Miasma, Jin W, and then his Nexus explodes a few minutes later, which is very disappointing.
And then this Weibo team that almost lost to WE claps an IP later that week, which, once again, the Jekyll and Hyde performances you get from Weibo are just so fascinating. It is, I think that's the only appropriate word, because I can't say it's good, I can't say it's bad, it's just fascinating. And I definitely like using that word more than interesting, because I think I hear it used way too many times in a broadcast setting when you're just like, I don't want to be negative, but I don't want to be positive either. So I'm just going to say it's interesting. And I was like, no, it is very fascinating, because you are just almost aghast every time that you see kind of both extreme versions of this Weibo roster. See? There you go. The slander has come through once again.
It's even more interesting here. Weibo now have as many series wins as IG and NIP. So when do we put respect on their name as a team? Because NIP are 1-1 versus BLG. They're 1-1 versus AL. And they are 0-1. They will play Top Esports later this week. But
I have respect for individuals on Weibo, because while this team as a 5-man unit, first of all, struggles because they're inconsistent, but also struggle because they are deciding to swap out supports every other few weeks for the 2026 season, and therefore stun its ability to progress. But you have players like Elk, who can be one of the league's best AD carries, and he actually performed as the best AD carry in Split 1 to kick things off for 2026, which was an awesome way to kind of at least put a chip on your shoulder after BLG dumps him for Viper, assuming that is
and then he runs it down in playoffs.
Yep. Then he runs it down in playoffs. But they get third. They get top 3, which was awesome. a hell of a run through the lower playoffs. You also have JJ, who I will still go to bat for this guy, because I know that JJ, every now and then, he'll put in some stinker performances, but legitimately, he is more than 50% of the reason why Weibo will win a game or win a series in general. The JJ is a very, very, very strong jungler for the LPL as a domestic league. But it's just, and I know that sounds like kind of like half-assed complimented, but I mean, first of all, LPL has a lot of strong junglers, and those junglers outside of Shun are playing very Jekyll and Hyde at the moment, because first Tien is having an MVP run, and then there's some slouches in performances in recent times, in recent weeks. Tarzan is supposed to be the best jungler here in the LPL, but he's also disrespecting his opponents a lot, and also getting clapped. Junja, who we didn't necessarily expect to be one of our top junglers, sometimes puts in very, very, very insane levels of performances, because...
And then we get the Malphite game from last night.
Woo! Where he is homeless for the first
few minutes
of the game.
Did you see the post-game screen for that, by the way?
No.
Dude, okay, for everyone at home, JDG versus AL last night. Game 2, he plays a Malphite jungle into Tarzan Xin Zhao. I'm trying to find the game time for that game. Let me just real quick check before I come up with this hilarious slander. Okay, this is a 28-minute game. He is playing Electrocute Malphite. Can you guess how much champion damage he did in this game? For note, his team is Mbessa, Malphite, Orianna, Lucian Melio. Enemy team is Vayne, Xin Zhao, Ryze, Ashe Seraphine.
He has done less than 800 champion damage.
Okay, 800 is a bit slanderous. Jesus Christ.
I
He did
thought
4,000 damage in a 29-minute game. And then game 3, he plays Maokai. No phase rush Maokai, first strike, and he kind of runs the game. I mean, this is a Caitlyn Elise draft at the end of the day, and they play her on the spot side. I thought Hongq played well in that game 3, but you're talking about like night and day performances. We got to see that from him literally 24 hours ago.
Just for comparison, what was the next highest champion damage in the game for the Malphite one? If he's 4,000.
Let me go grab the actual LPL because I'm just looking on Leaguepedia.
All right. That's fair. That's fair.
So let me pull this up. Okay, so 4,100 is the official number. The Melio on his team did 4,000 damage.
Oh no.
The next highest damage is Seraphine on the enemy team doing 8,000 damage.
More than double.
Like, my jungle is useless. Like, it was. If there was ever a game that I've seen Twitch chat completely slander a player, that was one where if you're a Jinja hater, I've got no notes to defend that guy. You were eating very good last night.
Not even the best lawyers could defend Jinja on that one.
No.
But it's okay. I mean, that is kind of the state of jungle, though, when you pick some of these champions that really are team-centric. Because if you get bullied out of the jungle early on like that, I mean, Malphite just becomes an ult bot at that point. You just cannot do anything.
He had Tarzan in the first 3 minutes of the game. He took 4 of Junja's camps. He did not see an entire quadrant of the jungle for until second or third respawn. That was a crazy performance. I want to keep us moving on. I am disappointed in NIP. The last time we saw them have a 3-week series, it was more justifiable because it was, hey, you're playing against AL, BLG, and Top Esports. You're playing against the top 3. They only won a single series versus them, and their only 2 games they won that week were against BLG. But we were saying, hey, you beat BLG. It's okay. You can lose with grace to these other 2 teams, and the Top Esports series was kind of close. This is another 3-series week. AL's their toughest opponent, but they lose to both IG and Weibo. I think you put the nail on the head at the very beginning of the show. I think we really got to come back to, maybe it's time to come back down to earth for NIP. Maybe it's time we come back down. They're most likely not making top 4 for playoffs.
Yeah, because for what it's worth, when NIP and WE both made it to Group Ascend after qualifying through playoffs for Split 1, we had a similar level of expectation where going into Split 2, we said, these guys are just happy to be here and not in Nirvana, where their LPL season is on the line as a risk, right? So they might receive some BTA action, and it's gonna be a hard time for some of these players since they are naturally gonna be outclassed. But the way NIP kicked things off in the first few weeks, it was just really impressive, and it really comes down to jungle through bot lane specifically, because Awesome and Joel have risen up as one of our unironically top bot lane duos in the entire LPL, and now that level of performance is starting to kind of come down to earth, like you said, and simmer down. That being said, I still think this team runs so heavily through them that I think the way I view Awesome and Juwo as players individually, when it comes to like all pro votes later on in the regular season, they're still going to be in the conversation in top 3 for me.
Go vote for All Pro, guys. It's live. If you use exclamation point for all of our live viewers, exclamation point Discord, you join. It is currently live to vote for the community. If you want to get in there, throw your votes in. We're going to be showing community All Pro ballots once we start playoffs. People can get that rolling. It does close, if I remember correctly, on the 19th. So 19th, 12 a.m. PST, PDT, whatever. Daylight savings time is a scam. Just make sure you guys get your votes in. It's really cool. We can actually get into this. Our next slide is going to be talking about the playoff scenarios coming forward. But I think it is virtually impossible now for them to make it. I know it is on a technicality that they can, and we'll kind of get into some of these, but I gotta say, man, one spot left, by the way. Okay, vote for Knight for All Pro. That is true. No, that's true. No, you should.
For anyone that might be tuning into the LPL podcast and going, how come they're not talking about BLG that much? Well, because the story about them hasn't really changed. They're still the best team in the league. Knight is still the best player in the league, period.
Correct.
And probably the best player in the world right now. So,
agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. I can't believe we had to redact certain stats for the lower third to come through. A couple of things were really interesting. Because NIP lost to Weibo, it actually granted Top Esports and JD, or it granted Top Esports a win, or basically not a win, but it put them into playoffs locked. And then because JDG then won last night's series versus AL, they got the 3rd spot. So there's only one slot left for playoffs, and not that I'm like too worried about some of our Ascend teams going up against Group Nirvana. I think it would be really, really disappointing for a team like specifically NIP to miss out on their shot because they had these fumbles specifically this week. Those 2 games, these 2 series, I should say, cost them getting a playoffs berth.
Yeah.
Instead of having to basically, and it's only one best of 5, but that best of 5 could show a lot. That could show a lot going into the playoffs. That could be something where if you perform very poorly, you either don't get to go to playoffs, or a team like BLG first picks you for the season and you're screwed, basically. Yep. So,
and then you are fighting for your life through lower bracket for the remainder of playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know. Really quick update. There is a very popular leaker for the LPL who put out some information. I cannot verify these claims until we get official word from LPL, but the word is that play-ins was supposed to be in Shenzhen, so the home arena for NIP. However, this will no longer be the case. Play-ins is going to be an online-only event, and knockouts will be in person. Now, this is only a rumor. I cannot confirm whether or not this is true or not. However, if it won't be fixed, play-ins will. Okay, so there's a potential for play-ins to be online, which means we're probably going to have delays for the show. It also means that we're going to have no Gyos, which is really sad. But I don't think it's going to change too much for the teams. If we can go actually to the next slide. I'm going to break this up into 2. We're going to just focus on Group Ascend right now. The 3 teams that are left to make it into playoffs, if you are only listening to audio, BLG, Top Esports, and JDG are the 3 teams that are locked for playoffs. They will not have to play a best of 5 to get in. They will also have the choice to choose their opponents going from 1st to 4th seed based on who wins the play-ins. And Weibo and WE are locked to play against these Group Nirvana teams, which for WE, they will play against the first place of Nirvana, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Here are the schedules as well. Unfortunately, that first series on Wednesday, or I guess the second series on Wednesday, I think will unfortunately lock up the entirety of the bracket. For context, that is WE versus AL. And if AL win that one, they have 8 wins. NIP can no longer
Boom.
reach that. IG can no longer reach that. And the whole weekend
Boom.
is locked.
So what you're saying is WE could do the funniest thing possible.
Yes. Yes, they can. Yes.
Wednesday, May 13th. Tune in for what could be potentially the funniest series of Group Ascend. Just letting good also, it is our last regular season week as well. So
yes. And we start on Tuesday, by the way. So probably by the time this podcast is posted, there will be games being ready to play. Currently, I'm getting VTubed on because roommate Ilya wants to walk behind me. So, but it's not like we are locked for all of playoffs or all of the regular season. It's not like, okay, if WE win or if WE lose, we don't. The rest of the week doesn't matter because all the teams would be within one win of each other. It actually does matter for seeding, especially for the Group Nirvana teams. If you are going to be playing in play-ins, you really want to be fifth seed so that you can just say like, hey, I'm playing against the worst Nirvana team. I'm taking a free 3-0 and we call it a night.
Yep. There's no chance for a spoiler, or at least you're limiting those chances. Quick question for
what's
Group
up?
Nirvana. I don't know if we have a slide for...
We are going to have a Group Nirvana slide after this, so...
Okay. Yeah, go watch May 13th because not only it's WE versus AL, but there's a very important series for Group Nirvana as well. It would be potentially OMG's last chance of trying to save their LPL season. They're already in dire straits. They're already most likely in the position of being relegated from the remainder of LPL, but there is a chance, and unfortunately they have to go up against one of the top two teams in Group Nirvana against EDG. So and then unfortunately for OMG, that's not their last series either of the week. They have to play against Ultra Prime.
You're saving it. Don't spoil it. You're gonna spoil the Nirvana section. Don't worry about it. We'll get into it. It's okay. It's okay. We still love you. All right. For this, I guess I want to get your take about who you think is going to make, like, what do you think the breakdown is going to be? I only really put the 4 teams that are going to be relevant as it is for the actual series that are for basically making it in as the last 3 teams that are not locked yet for their positions. But
yeah.
Games or series that you think this week are going to be pretty important, or I guess, what do you think this bottom 4 is going to look like? Do we think IG is our 5th place team? I guess is the question.
IG is also fascinating, but for different reasons from Weibo, because Weibo, I feel like on paper have a higher skill ceiling and should be performing way better than what their results show, whereas IG started off, and a lot of these early season series wins were unexpected, and I did not expect this team to be performing as well as they did. Obviously, Mako and Breathe coming back into this roster cleans up a lot of the inconsistency and raises the overall skill ceiling that this team should be performing at. But Jachi, impressive split one with Top Esports in place of Jackie Love and doing his best Jachi Love impression. Still remains to be an 80 carry that falls victim to the I'm an insane team fighter, but I'm very greedy and do not play laning phase nearly as well as the rest of my competition. And, well, obviously Renard got subbed out for Nya, and I don't know where I sit on Nya at the moment because it's only been a few series from them, but I know you appreciate them a lot. But
this team is so weird, bro. Breathe was like the best top laner in the league for like 2 weeks, and then he's just completely fallen off the face of the planet. I can't trust Wei with any kind of lead because he's a flipper. And I'm never gonna blame the rookie mid laner that has to come in halfway through the split to do dirty work. So, like, Jotchi and Mako were already like pretty poor laners as a 2v2, and the team fighting is there. Jotchi is just inexperienced. Like, I think there are some people on the broadcast that have already kind of getting ready to let that ship sail. Say like, thank you, Jotchi. We're gonna pick up another AD carry, but. He has talent. I think he just needs time. And in the same way that I think that series that we saw from WE and Weibo, where I was talking about about losing them the game at that point, I think that moment for About is a character building moment. And a split like this is a character building moment for Jatsi, where he's actually having to play against better competition and he's not playing against group Nirvana teams constantly and getting, I think, bad data or bad information about how to play at a higher level. So I have hope for him.
I think it's not just that, because he technically had that in Split 1 when he was playing for Top Esports. But I will say that being on another team after you kind of get all the hype and praise given to you from the Top Esports experience and trying to maintain that momentum can prove to be very difficult, because we have seen many talents, many players over the years where they have an insane split out of nowhere, and then you expect them to continue it, and they're just not able to deliver, whether it's through meta changes, whether it's just through just other factors, right? And I mean, look at Fodic from V5 back in like spring 2022.
All right, okay, come on, this is so different though. Like, he knows that he doesn't have a spot on this lineup going forward, right? Like on Top Esports after Split 1. He goes into Split 1 knowing, hey, Jackie Love is probably coming back, so I'm going to hold it down. He's playing with another support that is completely different. Feng Yue and Mako are not the same player, and it's an entirely different team. And IG were already suffering, right? Like, Jotchi has his flaws, yes, but I think that it's too early to pin or to be like, maybe the best days are behind him. I think it's too early for that. I'd be willing to have this conversation after Split 3, where we don't have an entire team shift and he's not like on a completely new coaching staff, right? IG did also bring in new staff for the split, and he wasn't even on this team to start. He's going from Top Esports to this team. There's a lot of different pieces that he has to slot in, and so his role is just, I think, different when in comparison to Top Esports.
I guess what I was trying to get at is that, like V5's first split, there wasn't many expectations, and suddenly they just became like the best team domestically for that regular season. But I think you are correct that Jotchi is playing in a world where there's nothing he could do wrong here, because his spot is being taken away anyway at the end of the season or whenever Jackie Love feels like he is ready to come back to pro play. So Jotchi might as well just send it. But now that he's on a team where he was given that spot because of his good performance, there's even more pressure to maintain that. And maybe the pressure is the thing that holds him back, right? And
maybe
that, yeah.
And then his mid laner gets replaced halfway through this.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Renard.
Yeah. I mean, between playing with a inexperienced support like Feng Yue and still doing surprisingly well, to then being paired with, okay, well, now you're going with a world champion in Mako, one of the greatest players of all time in the world, and then also at this point considered the LPL GOAT before we get a few more years of Knight domestic and hopefully international dominance, right? And then he can take that.
Spoiler alert, I think Knight is the LPL GOAT, but we could shelve that combo.
Yeah. At the end of 2026, and he maintains this year round, and we get a couple other international wins, I'm definitely ready to officially sign off on that. But yeah, for me, I feel like NIP or Weibo should theoretically be the actual 5th best team in the league based on the kind of wins and results they get. Whereas anything else happens, if IG somehow end up there, I'm like, wow, well, that's cool. But it should be.
Look at these schedules though, man. Like AL, WE's kind of a softball. VLG is fine. NIP are playing Top Esports and WE. What if they go 0-2 this week? What if the Ninjas go 0-2?
I mean, them losing against Top Esports would not surprise me, but if they lose against WE, I will be very depressed for Awesome and Jewel, because I think that would then take them out of top 3 all-pro contention, realistically. I don't know if you can... Even if About and Arha are the best parts about WE, I don't know if you can reasonably put Awesome and Jewel in top 3 all-pro anymore after losing to WE. That just can't happen.
Well, who knows? I mean, I don't think you could put some members of JDG if they lose. They lost the first game to WE. Just saying. All right, we can move on to Nirvana here. Nirvana. All right, Rafa, let it rip. You're getting ready to talk about OMG.
OMG, their final hour comes on EDG, and it will be determined. Okay, the phrasing was really weird there. Yeah. It's okay. This week 7 will determine whether OMG will get to at least play competitive League of Legends for another split, or if they are once again sent to the Shadow Realm of no LPL for the rest of the season. And remind you, OMG experienced this last year in 2025 when LPL first made it a thing. Them and RNG were the 2 teams that finished at the bottom of Group Nirvana in the regular season in Split 2 2025. And we didn't see them in LPL Tier 1. They were playing in LDL. But now, there's not even an LDL, if I'm not mistaken. So...
yeah.
So what do you do? Yeah, what do? You don't just play competitively at all unless LPL or China has some kind of tier 3 amateur scene that we don't know about. Some
there's
grassroots
an Asia
tournaments.
Masters. There's an Asia Masters, and I know I shared a screenshot of this. There's an Asia Masters like online tournament that's going on right now with 6 of the LPL like academy teams that are happening. They play a quadruple round robin. For anybody that's interested, Thunder Talk Young is 0-20 in that. They are 0-40 in game score right now, which is, I don't know how that happens. I can't find any actual information of like games played, but the records are all on Leaguepedia. So I'm kind of like tangentially like keeping up with this. They wouldn't even be able to play in that. So I don't. If my math is right, if they lose a game, I'm pretty sure they're screwed for OMG, because the way that tiebreakers work, it's game differential, then it's head to head. So at -4, if they lose a game, it doesn't matter what happens, because every other team, even at max losses, can't reach, other than Ultra Prime, can't reach -4. Like EDG and Thunder Talk can't reach -4. It's highly likely that losing a game probably doesn't screw them, but it probably will after their series versus EDG, depending on the result. But we have 2 slots left. Are we just kind of calling it that it's EDG and Thunder Talk? I mean, it's not like Thunder Talk's like super difficult, but Thunder Talk are playing against EDG, which could like maybe knock them out. And then Ultra Prime OMG might unironically, depending on if EDG do the fun thing, which is beat Thunder Talk, they actually could send them at a 2-3 record. And if Ultra Prime win, then Ultra Prime actually saved, and it's Thunder Talk who are out. Oh my god.
There's actually 2 funny scenarios. So Thunder Talk could be relegated alongside OMG. You could actually relegate EDG if OMG beat EDG and Thunder Talk beat EDG, and then Ultra Prime beat OMG, because then Ultra Prime would make it out over EDG. Oh no, I really hate that I just entertained that scenario, because now the timeline is starting to work some devious licks in my brain right now. I can just see. I'm like Doctor Strange with the time stone. I'm seeing all of the possibilities of the future, and
Well, you're an EDG hater now, so I'm actually the EDG enjoyer on the team now.
Well, I'm not a hater, but I became a huge fan when Perugia came up and he had this super awesome story of watching this team for like 10 years ever since they won MSI in 2015. Like, I relate to that. I relate to watching something and falling in love with something and then chasing that dream for so long to then finally get there. So then to see Perugia removed from that team and being put as the reason why they weren't winning games put a sour taste in my mouth. So now I'm like, I don't hate you guys, but I no longer care if you don't do well. I will not feel sorry. You burned a hopeful, young, bright talent that just needed more time, and yeah, you didn't cultivate that. So whatever. But OMG's chances are super, super slim because they have to beat EDG and they have to beat Ultra Prime. And I think the way that they get out, I don't know if it's Thunder Talk has to beat EDG or if EDG has to beat Thunder Talk. I'm trying to look at this because OMG do not have the head-to-head over Thunder Talk. So even at best, they go 4-0 against EDG and Ultra Prime. Their game score is 4-6 or 6-6. Thunder Talk.
Well, no, it would be no. So their game score, if you're saying they're going 4-0, they would be 8-6. If you're for
wait,
Ultra,
really?
Sorry for which one? Which Ultra Prime or
OMG? No, OMG.
OMG.
I'm saying OMG.
So if they go 4-0,
that'd be 6-6.
They mean 6-6. It'd be 0. Thunder Talk would technically still be +1, but it would depend on how their series go. If they lose, they're 0-0, and then the head-to-head kicks in. If they get 2-0'd by EDG, then they're -1, and then they'd get knocked out.
So OMG could be 6-6, and if Thunder Talk loses this series, they would be 6-7.
Yes.
So then they would. I'm sorry, that was not intentional. I promise that was not intentional.
Yep.
But if they have that record, then OMG would beat them because they have one more loss. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well then, yeah. OMG need to have a 4-0 week, and they need Thunder Talk to have a 0-2 against EDG. Oh. Okay. If anyone might be wondering why does Rafa care so much about OMG, it's because OMG had this really, really cool play-ins to playoffs. Thank you, Kai.
That doesn't show up on the show, bro. That doesn't show up
okay.
on the show. It's just
Ilya to me is just showing some plant from Cuphead with the 6-7 numbers. Anyway, OMG in the play-ins run to playoffs. We're one best of 5 away from qualifying to playoffs and from making it into Group Ascend. Just think about that because
I don't want to.
They overperformed against LNG, upset them, only to drop against IG. But it was because their jungler, ReZero.
That brother's never coming back, bro. I promise you,
no.
He's never coming back.
I was super excited about this young jungle talent that just kind of came up through the OMG developmental pipeline, and OMG are at least have had successful stories about other talents coming up through that developmental pipeline. Didn't pan out, and now OMG obviously are in dire straits where they are no longer taking chances on their other developmental pieces like Starry, who was one of the better parts of OMG after their first year in 2025, replaced by Photic. Because OMG are like, well, we just need veteran talent at this point. We need to increase our chances of not getting relegated.
They're pulling the TL, bro. They're pulling TL. They're like, we need the double lift. Come through. We're gonna be playing on Team Liquid Academy. You're gonna win the relegation spot, and we're gonna have Piglet mid, and you're gonna be chilling. But instead of Piglet, it's High Chow.
High Chow. unironically, Haichao has been the best part about this OMG Split 2 season, which is just a crazy world to live in. But unfortunately,
he's good, man. Haichao is not the worst player in the universe. He just sometimes plays like it, and that's unfortunate. I can't hate this guy. He had a really cute post after Split 1 talking about like, I've basically out of high school did pro league and I have really like only done this, and so it really hurts when people are saying that like I'm win trading or like I'm trying to lose on purpose. I don't have other things to do. Like, I'm doing this because I was like a really prominent talent early in my career. So it sucks, and I'm glad that we get something from the players that shows a little bit of heart.
Yeah.
I'm not as hopeful that is going to happen. I do think that we are probably just going to see this exact graphic, but with colors changed and EDG Thunder Talk moving on through. That all to say, I think the only team that has a chance of making it out is the team that comes in first, because they're going to be going against WE in a best of 5, and that's probably going to be the most important. So LGD versus LNG is the last season, or the last Nirvana series that they'll be playing.
Thursday.
Let me make sure. Yeah, they'll be playing it on Thursday. That is going to decide who is first place between these two. Technically for EDG, they could go 4-1 and just completely sweep the group and go first. So it's not all locked, but yeah, first is the biggest goal, because first, if you win, not only are you in playoffs, you're going to be playing best of 5 versus the other Group Ascend teams. You're then going to Group Ascend for Split 3, which is by far the most important part of this entire thing.
So EDG have the head-to-head against LNG, but not against LGD. So the way that EDG could make it out would have to be LNG. Oh, no. Wait.
Oh, wait. EDG can't make first. Wait.
Yeah, they can. Because because LGD could win, go 4-1 and be 8-4, but they have
yes, they can.
Over
wait,
EDG.
Wait.
Are you sure?
Wait. No.
Okay, is it head-to-head? Is it head-to-head or game score first?
It's game score first. Okay. If EDG, for all the EDG firsters, you need LNG to win 2-1. You need LNG to win 2-1. And then you need EDG to go 4-0 this week. They'll both be at 4 game differential, but EDG have the head-to-head record versus LNG.
Yep. Over LNG.
So 3-game series, LNG win, EDG 4-0, they're first place. Wow. That would be really awesome. That would be really fun to see, if possible.
Right.
And if EDG lose to OMG, then FF anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yep. They need to have a 4-0 week. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Group Nirvana, a wonderful place, a very chaotic but wonderful place. And
I love it.
There are, once again...
They're going to have 4 series this week. 4 Nirvana series is the most out of the entire split. At most, we've had 3. There's only been one night where we had 2 Nirvana series. We're going to have 4 of them this week, which I think is a lot more fun for everybody involved. All right. Roommate Ilya is giving me the evil eye right now. So let's get into the fun part of the show, the one that everybody loves, even if you're a Nirvana lover or an Ascend lover. We're going to be learning some Chinese.
Woo!
Professor Ilya, take it away.
我要中国.
You want China?
No, I meant Chinese. I want like...
中文.
Oh, 中文.
中文.
My bad. Sorry. I can see the VTuber reflecting his face.
Professor Ilya, take us through the lesson.
All right.
I may have griefed Ilya because we've went so long. He told us that this was going to be a very long lesson, so we might be here for a bit.
Oh, that's okay.
Welcome to... My eyebrows are stuck.
You're just gonna have to look like a wet cat. Just keep going.
One moment.
He's resetting the model. God damn it.
Oh my god. One second. Okay. You know, okay. I'll just keep this expression the entire time
Okay,
through
man.
this. Alright. Welcome to Learning Chinese. As I've taught in previous Learning Chinese sessions, when you are writing Chinese, you should imagine a 2x2 grid. And so today, after I quickly reset this, we're going to put this to the test.
No, no.
Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so
There's a
The
fish on
first-
your mouth.
It's a mask.
The first character we're going to
Oh.
learn today is yu.
You.
Yu means fish. The one on the left is how it's written in simplified Chinese with the line underneath here. The one on the right is the one that we'll be focusing on today, which is traditional Chinese, because this is the one that I was taught. The 4 dots on the bottom are the suffix, I guess, because it's not a prefix. It's a suffix version of writing water, and it's a fish, so it's, water.
Heard. All right, I'll show stream,
That looks pretty good.
and then I'll hand it to Ilya to look. Is this 1, 2, 3, or 4? You 2. So it's
You?
So it's this. It's the down.
Up. That's
Up.
4.
It's you. Okay.
You?
You're
You. For anybody who's maybe wondering what I'm asking, there are, as we've said before, this is a tonal language, and one of the tones is essentially the way that you would end like a question in English. So you like up at the end, but it's like I guess if I were to draw like this would be like the verbal tone that you would take where it's like going up. Nice fish, bro.
dude.
I
I
thought
am
it was
struggling.
suitable for this lesson.
What's got you struggling here, Mark? What's the issue here?
Oh boy, if you're struggling now, master writing the traditional version of fish.
Okay.
I highly recommend. Alright, that's pretty good. You probably want to keep everything a bit more connected. And notice how
Yeah.
the center box is a bit more like a square as opposed to a very flat rectangle.
Noted.
All right, fish. Me when I'm in drag.
Alright,
Fish.
now Mark, try the kind with the 4 dots underneath it.
Okay. Are they dots or little teardrops?
They're down.
They're
They're
like-
like dashes.
They're like if you were to take a brush and just press it down once as like a dot. Yep, that's pretty good. I would say be mindful that the top, the very top half above the square is not larger than the square itself.
Very true.
They're like relatively
point.
even in size if the square is not a little bit larger than that. Elk is not on cheat mode. He's just been learning for a little bit longer. The same way that Mark has been learning Korean.
Yeah, true. Mark speaks hella Korean.
저는 한국 사람. That's a
No,
lie.
我们在
I'm
这里
not
说
Korean.
中文。
我是美国人。
True. Whoa. No pads, no pads.
Oh no. My face has frozen. But that's okay. Let's keep
You're just
going.
really surprised.
Yep. Oh, it is just my... Oh, let me...
I think your VTuber is still there.
Yeah, it is. It's just my microphone.
Oh. Now we've got
All right.
deadpan Ilya.
That's perfect. Alright. And so the second part of this lesson, now that we know the traditional character for fish, what about two?
Yeah.
Two fish together.
It's not are you?
Nope, it's not
You are.
Two
You
fish
are idiot.
would be the word for this is a variation of the word for xian. Xian means fresh. Now for chat, I want you all to know this is not the typical way in which you would write xian, but I did this because I thought it was funny. And so now we take that quadrant and we split it left and right to write two fish to make the word xian. And then you don't have to write the second part. I also prefer the regular xian, but this is funny. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to go fix this.
How is my Xian?
Pretty good. The left one is slightly smaller than the right because the left
It looks
one,
smaller on
yeah,
here.
it is.
Okay.
You drew them about the same size.
Oh, okay.
Because the hello, where's my cat?
Hello.
Okay, perfect. All right, now my fish. Yeah. Again, like I said to Elk, you want to try to keep these closer together, Mark, because the two combined together make one character. It's not you're writing two. You're not writing fish. It's like fish together to make one fish.
How's my smaller one?
It's good.
Okay.
I would say try to make it a little bit longer, so that
Wait. Okay. Which one? The first.
the
or
first
second
one,
character?
so that it's more like. His name is Mark. Should I call you Rafa on stream?
I think you should call him
Okay,
Rafa on stream.
Rafa.
The same way that we call you professional roommate Ilya. Famous roommate Ilya. Margo, I would say that's generally okay.
I'm not much better at it, honestly.
Okay.
I don't write traditional Chinese.
Okay, so mine's on top, and roommate Ilya's is on the bottom here.
Yeah. Okay.
Low key, he kind of just wrote the same shit as I
Yep.
did,
Oh.
but like.
No.
Oh no, Rafa.
Elgato! My camera died.
Here, if it makes you feel any better, Mark, I'll also send myself to the Shadow Realm. One moment.
Okay, me too.
Yeah. Nope, you're still there.
Oh.
There you go. Now none of our cameras are here. I'm getting nocturnal to. There
Boom.
we go. All right. It's like we have real studio lighting here, guys. Just
All right.
we're all lit at the
How
same
do we
time.
all feel about Xian?
Xian? Yeah, looks fine
Okay.
to me.
Xian. Like the city.
And now,
Xian.
No,
that's
it's
Xi'an.
So that one is a an apostrophe after I.
So Xi'an, the city for Team WE, is two separate characters. This is Xian, as in one word.
Oh.
Somebody
okay.
in chat knows where we're going with this.
Xian Yu.
And so Xian Yu would be fresh fish. And now, for part 3 of
Is
this,
this gonna be 3 of the same
is
character?
3 fish.
God fucking damn it, bro.
3 fish, unfortunately, or fortunately, still just means Xian. It's the exact same as 2 fish. You can just write it with 3 fish to mean the same thing.
What the hell?
I have been giddily preparing for this lesson the entire day. I would like chat and the podcast to know.
Okay, how's my...
Oh, the stream just got hit by a 2-minute ad, so we can take this a bit more slowly. I would say the top one needs to be a little bit flatter,
Okay.
so that it is more. So, on the 2-fish one, you take the left fish, and it's the prefix. This one with the 3-fish, you take the top fish, and it's the top side prefix now.
I need
drew
a
it a little
stylus.
wider this time.
You should maybe have pen and paper in your house.
I know, Professor Ilya. This was my mistake.
Get it a bit closer together.
Okay.
If my iPad was charged, I could have been drawing on that. Oh,
Okay.
I
Low-key kind of
Okay,
sped ran
cool.
this one. For everybody who's not in an ad break, if you want to get out of the ad break, please subscribe on Twitch or go to the YouTube. The YouTube has ad-free viewing. Kappa. See, the Twitch stream might have a 2-minute ad break, but the recording of this will not have
It does not know, but we're still going slowly anyways because I think Mark is still writing.
Yeah,
So
Mark
we
is
have
still-
time.
Yep. I messed up. So I am doing it slightly bigger.
Do you guys like my fish?
I love
your
fish.
fish.
Carp, I think.
So, okay, so if I wanted to do this properly...
Okay, that's a bit better. You want to try to keep it still like not overwhelmingly much larger than the bottom two, but in the interest of time, we should probably keep going.
Fair enough.
And this is thankfully something that I'm just teaching here, not something that I think you need to practice too much.
Boom.
Much better. Now you have Xian Yu.
And then, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, fresh fish.
Yeah.
Now,
Fresh fish.
you're
Sorry.
now. I think you can see where we're going with this.
If there's 4 of these fucking characters, I'm gonna lose my mind.
So,
There's
we've learned
no way.
2 fish is Xian, and 3 fish is also Xian.
No. No, there's not 4 fish.
4 fish is not Xian. 4 fish is Ye, which
Yeah.
describes a rare appearance of an abundance of fish.
No way! Dude, there's no way in my entire life am I like, damn, 4 fish in one? I guess that is kind of rare. I guess if I did see 4 fish in one spot, I'd be like, damn, that's a lot of fish. But
Dude, that is like
Jesus.
RuneScape levels of rare. It's like, oh my gosh, I can just farm.
I just don't understand how we, as a language, we were like, I say we, the Chinese language was developed, and they're like, fuck, how do we get like a large, just put 4 fish as the character. Let's use fish 4 times. Oh my god.
When you look at the Instagram reels that I've sent you later today, from this morning that I know you haven't seen yet, you will see where I got the inspiration for this.
Ah.
Amazing.
But yes, so 2 fish and 3 fish, as I found out today, both just mean xian, but 4 fish is simply a lot of fish show up. How often is this used? I have never used this in my life.
How's my scribble?
It looks great. You have 4 fish.
I have 4
I think
fish.
4 fish is the easiest to write besides the 1 fish.
Okay, now what if I say I have a lot of fresh fish?
That doesn't work because 4 fish does not mean fresh. You have a rare appearance of an abundance of fish.
I can't show that on stream. I drew a middle finger, but it may look like something else. Oops. One fish, 2 fish, 3 fish, rare fish.
A rare appearance of an abundance of fish.
Oh, so it's not actually like a bunch of fish. It's me seeing a hella fish.
It's when a ton of fish suddenly appear.
How would you rate Rafa's lot of fish?
It's a lot of fish.
Appearance of lot of fish. Sorry, appearance.
It's
of
a
lot
rare
of fish.
appearance of a lot of fish.
So it's just yeah.
Yeah. 4. So it's downwards.
I am.
Yeah.
This finger is my stylus, so I apologize if it looks messy.
Rest assured, you will never have to use beyond 1 fish, ever in Mandarin.
Nice. So this was useless.
This was just for fun.
So
Because I
2 out of 3 out of the
I
4
thought the
was
fish were
just
funny.
garbage.
Professor Ilya, 我要 you.
What do you want with you want fish?
我要 you.
What do you want to do with the fish?
Eat it.
我要吃鱼.
Sure.
我要 shoot you.
Sure. Like it's a
Oh.
CHI. Sure.
Oh, okay.
吃鱼.
我要吃 you.
There you go.
Oh.
You know, like Rafa, do you know like have you ever seen on a list like Churfon?
Oh, like the dish? Churfon?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's 炒饭.
Chow Fan.
Oh, chow fan. Oh, my bad.
Chow Fan.
No.
Or like chow mein.
That's entirely different.
I know, but we're getting like I'm trying to like we're doing the lines, we're doing the connections.
There's no connection here.
I'm making one right now. I'm making one.
Let's go take a look at the schedule upcoming for
Yeah,
week
let's
7
get
of
the
the
okay.
LPL.
Professor Leah, say goodbye to the cast.
Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Another wonderful lesson of learning Chinese. One last time before we send everybody out, as this has been an extended episode. What is it, Professor Elia?
Special thanks to my friends Anson, Chris, and Dean for helping me figure out how to teach this lesson to these two.
Wonderful.
Let's go.
I'm glad we're ethically sourcing our Chinese
Well,
lessons.
I Zhongren.
Oh, there we go. I think you're supposed to say Zhongguo, but you love China. That's fine. You love Chinese people, I think is the word you.
I know I was looking
Kinda
for
got-
Chinese language.
I love middle people. True. Well, I Zhongguo. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, Rafa. Schedule for the week. We've got 6 days of games. We've got 4 days with Group Nirvana in them. Which one of these days are you looking forward to the most?
Wednesday, because that is OMG EDG, and potentially WE could do the funniest thing ever against anyone's legend. So
Yeah.
I am looking at that day as a kind of like, not praying for the downfall of two teams, but I am looking for some madness and chaos to be sowed into the potential timeline. But in terms of quality gameplay, I think for anyone who wants to watch the most competitive series, Friday, Top Esports versus BLG. Some people might think, what about BLG Anyone's Legend? Anyone's Legend is too inconsistent right now, and they're taking way too many fights where they're disrespecting their opponents. And low-key, Anyone's Legend is trying to play a game similar to BLG, where they just think, oh, we are better than these guys, so we're just going to hands check them in these kind of skirmish scenarios. And it's a far cry from what made Anyone's Legend, in my opinion, a really, really exciting macro team to watch back in 2025. And I don't know if it's just a reflection of the game being different or them trying to adapt to what is strong, or what BLG has demonstrated as being like the strongest strategy right now in this season. But for me, Top Esports and BLG will be like the most competitive series this week for sure.
Okay, so if someone was asking, Rafa, I can only watch LPL one time this week. I'm just too busy watching all of these amazing LEC and LCS games that I can only really fit in one LPL series. You're telling them Top Esports BLG.
Yeah, Friday morning.
Okay. All right. If you ask me, I'm looking at... I think if you were to only watch one series, I would recommend you go watch OMG EDG. I think it's going to be the most fun League of Legends probably of the week.
Yeah.
And it is going to be one of the series of all times. I can already feel it in my bones. I have a feeling Moham versus Jue is going to pop off. I could see Juhan. Maybe they get Rio in for a game. They say, look, potentially some of our last games, sauce them up,
You're our
kid.
last hope.
Just,
Yep.
yeah, throw them in. Throw
You've
them in
got
after
one
Juhan,
chance.
or throw them in before Juhan. Let them warm up in the series. What's up, Professor? Ilya wants to do this again. What's up?
There is no LEC this week.
I think that was kind of part of the joke. Okay. All right. So, yeah.
Nice.
Roommate
Nice.
Ilya, let's start to the 2cam here, and let's close out the podcast. Rafa, where can fans at home find you this week?
Top Esports Ninjas in Pajamas, 12 hours from now, or less than 12 hours from now, because it's the first series. I'll be on the show with Cubby. And
More than 12 hours from now. This is 3:30 a.m. 12 hours from now is 3:30 p.m. 24 hours from now.
24.
All right.
24 hours from now. Top Esports versus Ninjas in Pajamas. Other than that, NACL only has 2 days for the last week of regular season, but I'll be co-streaming, so you can hang out with me there. I am also... Oh my gosh, Elgato, please!
It's okay.
Why is this...
It's okay. Come on. We gotta wrap it. We gotta wrap it. It's your camera sending us signs, bro.
No, you're right. You're right. NACL co-stream. Also, we'll be streaming some Wild Rift on the weekend as well. I've been doing a lot more of that, and because Wild Rift is returning their international event, the Smash 2026, to South Korea later this year. Nothing confirmed yet, but I am talking with a lot of contacts over at Riot for some fun things to help build up the storylines for that event later this year. So this weekend of Wild Rift will be a preview of what's to come. So, boom.
Awesome. So for anybody who wants to watch, obviously we got a lot of LPL this week. Again, we are starting on Tuesday, so less than 24 hours now if you're a live watcher. Starting on the 12th, 2 a.m. PDT. Do your conversions where you got to locally, and we're gonna be back with some more LPL action. It's the last week of the regular season, and then we're going into playoffs. We're getting finally some best of fives with maybe some pretty exciting teams. It's been Alk and Rafa with famous roommate and producer Ilya handling the show on the back end and teaching some amazing Chinese lessons. Thank you, everybody, for joining another episode of an LPL English podcast. Remember, you can check us out on LPL_English on Twitter, and LPL English on YouTube and Twitch. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you for some more LPL in just a little bit of time.
Bye-bye.